Ikke vingle.
Ikke begynne å snurre på stolen fram og tilbake.
Hello everybody and welcome to July subscription video tasting with my friend Carolina.
That's me.
Carolina, who are you?
I'm a barista in your shop.
Woohoo!
You might have seen me before.
Yes.
making you some espresso. I've been working for you since 2013.
13, so 6 years.
Yeah. But
But you went away last year.
Yeah, I went on a 6-month leave, and then I ended up being gone for a year and a half. Yeah.
Very long time. To do what?
I wanted to work with coffee in just somewhere that wasn't Oslo, just to see the difference in coffee culture. And I had friends in Toronto, so it seemed natural to go there. And it was a lot of fun, but I was very happy to come back. Yeah,
we're very happy to have Carolina back. Because she's one of our, we call it mountains in our store. She has control, very good service, and yeah, we love having you there. So we're very glad that she's back. You used to work where before you started working for me?
Before Wendelboe, I worked at Stockflets, which is also where you got
I also worked there,
yeah.
So Stockflets is kind of a, I guess, like graduation place for a lot of baristas.
Yeah, I think a lot of good baristas have worked there and then moved on to amazing projects. So
yeah, or gotten a real job, like they call it.
Yeah, coffee is a real job.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's get straight into the coffees, because we have some really exciting stuff today.
Yes.
I'm just gonna pour and not say anything. We're gonna start with the first coffee. That is for everyone who subscribe. So if you subscribe to 1 bag, 2 bags, or 3 bags, you will get this coffee in the mailbox. And we roast every first Wednesday of the month. So sometimes it's on the 1st, sometimes it's the 5th. It depends on the month. But should we taste?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
But what is more, even more dominating is that you can taste that it's an unusual coffee for us, maybe.
Yeah, it's like really, really ripe fruit-like, which is, it's very distinct for a natural processed coffee.
Yes, very good guess, Carolina. This is our first natural processed coffee since 2014. We actually bought our last one 2013. Yeah. It was a Brazilian natural. And then we sold it in 2014.
Yeah.
And it's the first Ethiopian natural coffee we've had since 2009.
And how come it's been like a very long time since you've had naturals? So how come you suddenly got some now?
Yeah, no, it's not a secret that I'm not the biggest fan of naturals. Because most of them, in my opinion, doesn't taste great. They very often have this kind of peanut flavor from Quakers. Quakers is, when you open a bag of roasted bean, you see a lot of these kind of very light beans. And if you kind of break those beans open, they smell like peanuts. And sometimes you also get this, regardless if you don't have a lot of Quakers or not, in the naturals. And also you can taste a little kind of rotten fruit. Naturals is basically, you pick the coffee cherry and you dry it. Yeah. Whereas most of our coffees are washed, where you pick the coffee cherry, you depulp the cherry, so you remove the skin, you ferment the parchment coffee with the mucilage still on, until the mucilage kind of dissolves, and then you wash it and then dry it. And this washing process creates a more uniform coffee normally, and cleaner. Naturals tend to ferment a little bit when you have the berries on the drying tables. You do have fermentation, and it can be uncontrolled. If you have very thick layers, you have a lot of these rotten flavors. But if you have a very thin layer and you're very careful in moving the cherries all the time, you get a very clean, still a little bit ferment flavor, but it's more like peach, strawberry, in a good way.
One of my favorites, actually. I really love natural coffee, so I'm very excited about having natural coffee here.
Very nice. I really enjoy drinking this. Let's take a sip again, because you can distinguish a good natural from a bad one when it cools down. If it's still like really nice and lush and fruity to drink, great. If it's kind of nutty and tastes more like stomach acid. Not so great.
I think something that's very nice is that it's super sweet, but it's also very clean. And it's hard to sometimes describe what I mean when I say clean, but to me it's something refreshing. There's no rotten flavors or like funky flavors. It's just very sort of pleasant and smooth to drink. Yeah.
So why natural? Well, I went to Ethiopia in 2018 and I visited a couple of coffee farms. The legislation in Ethiopia now is that they've opened up for smaller farms to be able to sell direct to roasters. So I wanted to go to Ethiopia to see if I could find some partners we could work with long term, just like we do in Central America and Colombia and so on. And then I visited this farm it's very close to Bonga, which is kind of the birthplace of coffee in Kaffa, in the west part of Ethiopia. And I went there with an export company called Belco. It's a French company. They took me to a farm called Tatmara Coffee Plantation, where Negusie is kind of born and raised, but he bought the farm now very recently and is trying to produce high quality coffees. So we went there and we talked to him. We kind of asked him if he could prepare some special lots for us, where he dried very carefully the naturals in very thin layers, and he managed to do that, so we could buy actually 2 different lots. So we separated the lots on variety, because he has a farm where he planted his own varieties, and so he separated them. So let's taste the other one.
Yes,
straight away.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you more about them. They're quite similar in flavor, I would say. And I'll give you a top up on the first one.
Oh, I really like that. I really do, yeah.
What do you think it tastes like compared to the first one?
This one is still quite hot. I mean, we'll have to wait for it to cool down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But very sort of dark plum, I would say.
Yeah, for me at least, more stone fruits. I mean, they're similar, but they're also a little different.
Yeah, this one has more of, this one has more of the stone fruit sweetness, and this one I think is a little bit more bright.
Yeah.
Just a tad more bright, more like fresh fruit.
Yeah. Maybe like fresh strawberries here.
Yeah.
More like peach and stone fruit.
Yeah, there. Yeah. But mouthfeel, they're quite similar.
Yeah. So both coffees for 1-bag subscribers and 3-bag subscribers. The 3-bag subscribers will get a second variety called 74112. This is variety 74110.
That's a mouthful.
This means in 1974, the research institute in Jimma in Ethiopia kind of separated and selected and recognized 2 different varieties. And they just have numbers. So 74 is 1974. This is variety 110, 112.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And they're pretty common in this area, at least for new plantations. If you're a smallholder farmer in this area, you will just normally get seeds from a neighbor or go into the forest and pick whatever tree looks great and plant that. Or you'll just go to the research foundation and get seeds from them.
Yeah.
But because they're grown on the same farm, they're quite similar, but there are some subtle nuances. So I think, probably they will develop also with a little bit of aging. So that means in a couple of months we might be able to taste a little bit bigger difference.
Yeah, but what's the on Ethiopian farms? What's the soil like, and the altitude and climate? And
very good question. I actually don't remember the altitude on this farm. I was just so amazed when I visited. This is actually a natural forest. Negusie has kept all the trees there. Of course, there has been in the past people cutting down some trees for firewood and stuff, but most of the trees are intact. So he planted coffee on the kind of forest floor, and there's a lot of weeds growing everywhere.
Yeah.
He doesn't fertilize anything, doesn't even make compost. The only thing he does is to cut the weeds twice a year, and normally just before he harvests. So, and that produces a lot of organic material that falls to the ground, and the soil is just really rich, and of course there's not a lot of sunlight, so the trees don't produce that much, but there's very little sickness on the trees and so on. you have the biggest problem for him is not like leaf rust, which it is in Central America, but the biggest problem for him was baboons.
Yeah, okay.
They were coming into his farm and actually stealing the fruit and eating it.
Yeah, they would.
And breaking the tree and
rascals.
And also he has herd lions there. He's growing like a long pepper, which is very delicious. He's growing wild cardamom and all sorts of different spices. It's just a beautiful place. I'll probably post a little video from this farm later on, but there's some photos in our website as well. You can go in and have a look. So it's, he's growing by organic practices, and it's actually working on getting it organic certified.
That's amazing.
Well.
Yeah, because we have a lot of people who ask about organic and sustainability on farms and all of that. Yeah.
Generally, most coffees in Ethiopia are organically grown, just because they don't have access to fertilizer and so on. All right, so 1 bag subscribers, variety 741110 from Tatmara Coffee Plantation in Ethiopia. It's a natural process. And 3 bag subscribers will get variety 741112 from the same farm and same process. So very fruity coffees. Like if you put stone fruit on a bag and the volume button, this would be volume 10.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you see stone fruit on a bag of coffee from Finca Tamana, the volume button will probably be on 4. Yeah.
It's very distinct.
Yeah.
It's in some coffees you will see the stone fruit description and you're like, yes, it can remind me of stone fruit. I can see that. But here it's much more like, this is like plum juice, pretty much. It's very distinct.
And you should make these and cool them down and drink them as iced coffees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even maybe add some honey just for fun.
Yeah, or, experiment with some sweeteners, but it's summertime, so
it's summertime, and that's why we're sending out these fruity coffees.
Yeah.
The middle coffee is going out to everyone who subscribes to 2 bags or more. Also very fruity coffee, not Ethiopian. It's a washed processed, just because, not everyone loves naturals. And it's a Kenyan coffee.
Yeah, you could tell by just the smell alone.
Wow, they're so different.
So tasty, but yeah. This one is almost spicy.
Yeah. Well, it's super different.
Yeah.
Much cleaner kind of vibrancy and...
It's fun to taste coffees like this up against each other just to see what range of flavors you can get. Extremely
fruity, all of them. And for me at least, the Kenyan now, it's just like pure rosehip tea.
Yeah. And it's got that hibiscus floral note as well.
Yeah. That's, interesting, because sometimes when you buy rosehip tea, it contains 10% rosehip and then 90% hibiscus.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second coffee is from a factory called Kiava Mururu. It's actually also one of the first Kenyan coffees that I ever bought.
Oh.
So I'm happy to have that back. We sent it out last year as well during summertime. It's just such a sweet and clean and refreshing coffee. So I wanted to send that out.
This one would also be good as an iced coffee.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And we make iced coffee at the bar with Kenyans as well.
Yeah.
And it's not a cold brew. It's a pour over coffee that we cool down.
We brew hot and then cool down. We have a recipe. There's a link to the video below, I guess. Krista, remember to put the link below. All right, there's not much more to say. Are you happy that we have a natural?
Yes, I'm super
I'm also really happy that we have a natural.
I'm so happy.
Brewing wise, I think, V60 or AeroPress, or it doesn't really matter as long as you brew them well, I think. I brewed these with a little bit lower dose, so 30 grams per 500 grams, so that's 60 grams per liter.
Yeah, and the grind setting was coarser or finer?
A little bit coarser than, for instance, our Finca Tamana or Katwai. It's just because they're so easy to extract. They come from farms with very high elevations.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to extract them. So they shouldn't have a lot of bitterness. They should be very clean and sweet and vibrant. So if you're sensing when you're brewing it that it's bitter, grind a little bit coarser.
And also look for, because they all have really nice mouthfeel, so also look for that sort of full, pleasant, smooth mouthfeel as well.
Mouth coating.
Mouth coating.
Tongue coating, yeah.
Yes.
Also for espresso, don't be afraid to extract these a little bit faster than our normal espresso, so go a little bit coarser, but you can also play with going quite fine and extract more, because you're not going to get a lot of bitterness. It's just going to be more kind of sweet and rich, and then you can play with going a little bit faster in extraction, loosening up the grind a little bit to get more acidity and kind of more clear fruit flavor.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to experiment with in the bar.
Yes.
Awesome.
And also with milk, the natural.
Yeah, it cuts through milk really well. It's usually our experience. Yeah. And it's kind of like you got that really fat, sweet milk and then the fruity coffee, and it's kind of like a pie, like a fruit pie kind of flavor.
Strawberry cream.
Yeah. Very good.
So you can try that even in iced coffees or hot coffees. It tastes really good. Cool, that's it for this month. I really hope you enjoy our summer coffees. I'm going to enjoy them all summer, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you, Tim.
Ciao.